Hello, YouTubers. I'm back. Like I said, I would be. Malcolm representing that MCMH show. I'm gonna change the title to that sooner or later. I'm gonna get a little bit of a surprise for you guys. I'm gonna be combining the channel with a certain YouTuber whose name I will not reveal. But in the meantime, like I said, I was gonna come up here and do an ECW review for you guys, and I got it. And that is ECW's Living Dangerously 99. This event took place March the 21st, 1999 in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Alright, we start off the night with Taz saying that he's going to come after Sabu's jaw. It's been 2 months. We're in the month of March, and Taz has been ECW champion for 2 months. And he said that he is going to just hurt Sabu because tonight's main event is going to be Sabu versus Taz for the unified for the they're going to unify the belts. The ECW World Heavyweight title will be on the line, and the ECW FTW World Heavyweight belt is going to be on the line. So now, with that being said, Taz gets interviewed. Then we start off the show with Joey Styles giving us a rundown of the show. And then we get our first match of the night. Super Crazy versus Yoshihiro Tajiri. Now, like I said, this was a good opening match, and this was their third match of their feud. House Party 99 is on its way, and when I get that DVD on my disposal, I'll be glad to review it, and I can't wait to see that match. Anyway, this was a very good match. I love both wrestlers. Super Crazy does a nice three triple jump moonsault. I also like the fact that both men were diving out into the crowd. It was a very good match. It was fast paced. It had me edging with edging with joy, and I love Joey Styles. Oh my God! In this, when Tajiri kicked Super Crazy in the chest so hard, even Joey had to pause and just say, "Oh my God!" Other than that, this was a good match, and I like the way how the feud ended, even though the feud still continues between both men. Super Crazy picks up the pin with a roll up, and it was a good match, a good way to start the pay per view, and a good way to preview the rivalry more. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Next, we get Steve Corino coming out to the ring, talking about he can do he can be more hardcore and can out wrestle anybody in the locker room, and he makes an open challenge, and the crowd was signaling Sid, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought Psycho Sid was gonna come out and destroy Steve Corino, but nope. It was Balls Mahoney. Balls Mahoney comes out, and it's a match between Steve Corino and Balls Mahoney for a first maybe a 6 minute match. It was a pretty like a comedic match. Steve Corino, he just panders to the crowd. He is like a heel through and through, and he was a really good heel. He had me hating him, so he's doing something right. So the ending has Boss Mahoney super kicking Steve Corino, then grabbing the customized chair, and then cracks Steve Carino's skull in with that chair and gets the 1, 2, 3. It was a good way to end the match. It was still short. It is what it is. It should have been on hardcore TV and then on pay per view. So I'm just with that being said, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. Next we get Little Guido versus Antifaz del Norte. I'm not too familiar with Antifaz del Norte. I know he doesn't stay long in ECW. I'm not too sure, but it was just a match. It was a little bit pretty boring match, and I really hate to say it due to Little Guido, because Little Guido I like him. I like Lil Guido. He was cool, but it was just a boring match. I mean, Little Guido gets the victory with a Sicilian crab, making Antipas tap out. And then Tracy Smothers and Tommy Rich comes out, and they get upset that I guess this was at the time where the FBI was starting to break apart. And then Tracy Smothers knocks down Little Guido, and then Big Sally Graciano's trying to keep the peace within the FBI, and then Tommy Rich just hits Big Sally with that mock Italian flag. It pisses off the big man, and both Tracy Smothers and Tommy Rich run like hell. And I would run like hell too. Sal is like what, maybe what, 6'8", 500, no, 600 pounds. Yeah, I would run like hell too. Other than that, the match was pretty boring, and I guess it was the disband of the FBI, I guess, somewhat. But it would have been better if it was Little Guido versus Tracy Smothers, but no. So other than that, I'm gonna give it a 1.5 out of 5. Now this next match was the match of the night. It was the show stealer. It was the best match on here, and I'm talking about the ECW TV television title. Rob Van Dam defends his belt against Jerry Lynn. And oh my God, I'm going to say this now for all you Spot Heavy haters. If you're not a fan of Spot Heavy, you're not going to like this one. But if you are just a fan of Spot Heavy and a fan of expectations meeting your high, this is a high. And you can believe that this match started that rivalry between Jerry Lynn and Van Dam. Everybody thought Rob Van Dam was going to have a cakewalk beating Jerry Lynn, but Jerry Lynn mostly dominated half of the matchup. I mean, he basically out wrestled Van Dam in this. Um, Rob Van Dam does a beautiful corkscrew leg drop outside of the ring. I also love the spot where like they're trying to sweep each other. Van Dam gets automatically gets I think he drops and then gets a leg drop on the chair. Jerry Lynn does a leg drop on the chair and he goes for the pin. That was a very, very good spot. Um, it was really good. I love the Van Daminator. That was pretty cool. And Jerry Lynn putting Van Dam through a table. This match was the show stealer, guys. This was the main event. And then the time expires. I guess it was a 20-minute time limit, and I thought it was 30, but I was wrong. It was a 20-minute time limit. And it looked like the referee was going to hand the belt to Jerry Lynn, but Jerry Lynn said no, he wanted 5 more minutes. He wanted 5 more minutes, and the fans wanted 5 more minutes. Jerry Lynn wanted 5 more minutes. Van Dam agreed to 5 more minutes, and I believe the last 2 minutes of the match, Van Dam hits the Van Daminator and then hits a beautiful looking 5-star frog splash onto Jerry Lynn. 1, 2, 3. Rob Van Dam gets the win. This match was so phenomenally well done. It was amazing, and because of that, the ratings is going to amaze it. It was very good, even though it didn't have a little bit of story, but it did start the feud between both men. I'm gonna be I, I'm gonna be cherished, and I'm gonna be grief with you guys. But I can't wait for Hardcore Heaven '99. And for this match, this was the match of the night. Obviously, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5. No, I take that back. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. Both men entertained the hell out of me. This was a 5-star match, regardless of. I don't care what anybody says. This was a 5-star match. Next, we get a segment that happened earlier before the pay per view even started. Porn star superstar Jasmine St. Clair saying that she's the most strongest female in ECW. She's the most extreme. And then here comes Francine And Francine gives Jasmine St. Clair a terrible looking stunner, like a very terrible stunner. I'm not gonna rate this. This was just a promo, and plus it was before the pay per view even started. So, so next we get, and this is the match that everybody says that this was the worst match on the card. Now I'm gonna say this right now. Next match, it's New Jack versus Mustafa. Gangsta versus Gangsta. Now, number one, I don't know why people don't like this match. Is it because everybody doesn't like New Jack? Is it because it's because both men can't wrestle? Well, here's how I believe on this. Because number one, it had a story going into it. Apparently, House Party 99, the the Public Enemy showed up, obviously, and then I think they didn't stay too long because the Dudleys took them out of ECW afterwards. And then the Dudley boys are saying that someone was paying them off to take out the Public Enemy, and they had New Jack next on their hit list. So New Jack inquired the help of his former tag team partner, Mustafa, which brought the gangsters back, and someone paid off the Dudley boys to take out New Jack, and that someone was Mustafa. Mustafa grabs a guitar and knocks out New Jack with it. So we get a match, and I saw some of the promos a little bit, and it got me hyped for the match a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, this got me hyped to see New Jack versus Mustafa, and of course, both men can't wrestle. I know that. It was gonna be a hardcore backyard street fight, clearly. But I've seen people give this match no ratings. I've seen people gave it a half a star. I've even seen people gave it a one, or not even. I haven't even seen people give it a two or a three or a four. Well, it's definitely not a five. It's not a four, and it damn sure is not gonna be no three. But so there's one. It had a story going into it. Two, you had people going for New Jack. Clearly, everybody wanted to see New Jack win. And besides, New Jack was another hype man because the Sandman was gone after this point. Sandman left around, I believe, before November to Remember '98 happened. So New Jack was like another hype to get the fans hyped up a little bit. And then three, it had the good payoff. You had New Jack going to the balcony and sacrificing himself to put Mustafa through a table. And it had a good payoff because New Jack gets the win 1, 2, 3. So obviously, those are the three things that I'm gonna give it for. It had a good story going into it. It's not a good story, but it had a story going to it. It had me hyped for the match, and hopefully made me had New Jack win. And three, it does. The payoff was good. New Jack beat Mustafa. So I'm not gonna give this match a half a star. I'm not gonna give it a one. I'm definitely not giving it a 1.5. So this is, I believe, I'm the only person that's gonna do it. I believe that this match it was not a match. It was just a street fight. But hey, I was happy to see Mustafa get his ass kicked for what he did to set up his tag team partner. So I'm gonna give this a 2.5 out of 5. And no, I can hear people in the comic section. Oh, you're just a huge fan of New Jack. You just love New Jack. That's not the point. That's not the case. I like New Jack because he's entertaining when he beats the hell out of somebody. Even though sometimes he is disturbing and takes it a little bit too far. I'm not gonna say the guy is a horrible human being. I'm not gonna wish anybody death upon him. Paul E made made the match, made the story. So quite honestly, this is more Paul E's doing than it was New booking this match. Now, if New Jack went too far, I can agree he goes too far. But other than that, like I said, the ratings had a story, a good payoff, had me rooting for New Jack all the way. I'm giving it a 2.5. Out of five, guys. I'm not giving it a three. It's definitely not a 3-star match. Anyway, After which, New Jack is a bloody mess and can hardly stand. Then here comes the Dudley boys beating the crap out of New Jack. Then Joel Gertner cuts this promo, this little poetry, and then the Dudleys just make an open challenge to whoever wants to fight them in the ring. And who comes out? Little Spike Dudley and Nova. And they get squashed. They just get squashed. Nova gets hurt, and you have doctors coming in, and then ring announcer, I believe Bob Ortiz, tried to protect Nova from getting beat up from the Dudleys, only to get 3D in the process. Spike, on the other hand, got thrown into the crowd once again, and you can't hardly see where the crowd was putting him. So the Dudleys say that they are the world's toughest tag team, even though they're not the tag team champions. Van Dam and Sabu are, which I think is pretty stupid how they made that decision. And also, then they said that there's nobody that has the guts enough to stand up to them. So here comes Judge Jeff Jones, and you know what that means. Sid comes out. So Sid comes out, and it's basically 2-on-1, and then Sid basically gives the upper hand and just beats the crap out of the Dudleys. And poor Devon, like poor Devon. He's getting his ass kicked by Sid. Then Spike comes back into the ring, beats Bubba Ray, hits him with an acid drop. I guess this was a handicap match, I believe, or Nova got hurt so bad that Sid came out. So if that be the case, Spike, Nova, and Sid beats the Dudleys. I'm not. I'm gonna say this right now. This, like I said, stuff like this should be on hardcore TV, not at no pay per view. And Sid doesn't really stick. Well, he does stick around. I think he came from January and stayed all the way to May. Because Paul E didn't really put him in some serious storylines and serious matches. So I think he was just there to beat the living hell out of people. And he does it with Spike at the end. He attacks Spike and then puts him like power bombs him head first from the table to the concrete floor. And I agree with Joey Styles 100%. He's and this is how I'm going to rate this whole segment. Okay, honestly, what was the point of that? So Joey said what I wanted to say, and I repeat everything that he just said. So I'm gonna give this. I'm not gonna rate. I'm not gonna rate this. This is just a television spoof. So we're just gonna move on. Just gonna move on. Next, we get a tag team warfare grudge match between the Impact players of Lance Storm, Just Incredible, against Tommy Dreamer and Shane Douglas. The storyline here is that Shane Douglas, I believe, after him losing to Taz, he was going to call it a career. He was going to retire. Well, technically, he doesn't retire. He was going to leave ECW to go to WCW. So, with that being said, he's saying that there's going to be, he's going to find a new successor to be the new franchise player in ECW. Then he gets interrupted by Just Incredible and Lance Storm, and Shane Douglas says that they're not ready to be franchised, so he picks Tommy Dreamer. Of course, the Impact players were not too happy about this, and then they just attack. They attack both Francine, Shane Douglas, and Tommy Dreamer. And then for the months that prior, they've been having a war with each other, and then that would led to this match. Overall for this match, this was a pretty just a by the numbers tag team match. Um, by the numbers tag team match. It was a I did like it, and I kind of liked the way that it ended, and the way that it ended. It was not a great tag team match, and not a great tag team match, but it was way better than that last segment we had. Other than that, it was a pretty good match. It was some pretty close finishes and pretty awesomeness going on with it. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. At the end, Cyrus the Virus comes out, and Tommy Dreamer and Shane Douglas are both being attacked by the Impact players. And then Cyrus comes out, and I think Dawn Marie and Jazz and Jason attack Francine, and then Cyrus the Virus, I believe this was his debut, I believe, and then he on pay per view, and then he headbutts Dawn Marie, not Dawn Marie, he headbutts Francine in the in the vagina area, basically. In the vagina, he headbutts her in the vagina. Meh. Next is the main event. The ECW World Television, not the World Television, the World Heavyweight title, and the FTW World title. Sabu versus Taz. Now, I think the last time these two men met was at WrestlePalooza 97, and they also met at Barely Legal 97, but never once they ever had the title on the line. For a maybe 15, 16-minute match, this was pretty good. Sabu's jaw was very hurt. He was bleeding from the mouth. Um, Taz and Sabu put on a pretty good match here, but pretty good match here. It was good for what it is. It was a good title match. Other than that, it was false count anywhere in the building, and they all went out to the crowd, obviously. And overall, it was a good title match. So I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5. Overall, you guys, ECW's Living Dangerously is just a barely above. I mean, just an average, barely above average, just in the middle of average show. I mean, Living Dangerously. I mean, you got the opening match, super crazy, and Tajiri was a good match. Steve Corino and Balls Mahoney was just a comedic 5 minute match. Little Guido and Antifaz Del Norte was just bad. It was bad. Then you had the match of the night, Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn. New Jack and Mustafa, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for saying it. It was a decent match, a decent fight, if you can say that. That Dudley incident was stupid. Tommy Dreamer and Shane Douglas was a good match. Even was a good tag team match, and the world title was a good tag team match. Overall, it was just above average because you got the following things that weighs it down: Little Guido at the Foz Del Norte, Steve Corino and Balls, that Jasmine St. Clair Francine cat fight that happened earlier on in the pay per view, which I don't know why they would show that. That Dudley, Spike Dudley, Nova, Sid thing. Those are the things that drove it down. Other than that, it's just a barely above show. You got some good matches here, but then it's weighed down by some of this crap that they put on here in this card to fill up maybe filler time. So other than that, I would recommend this. This is maybe just a watch and maybe a watch or two. And if you're an ECW collector like myself, this is obviously you have this in your collection. But if you're just like a casual fan, I would recommend the Super Crazy and Yoshihiro Tajiri match. Definitely the ECW TV title match, and also the Tommy Dreamer and Shane Douglas tag team match, and the World Heavyweight title. And if you want to watch the New Jack and Mustafa thing and judge it for yourself, you can be my guest on that too. So overall, I'm gonna just be. I was gonna give this pay per view a 3, but I'm gonna reflect it and just give it a 2.7 out of 5. Could have been better for what it was. It's not a horrible pay per view, but this does have some nostalgia into it. No, actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, I take that back. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5 because the Lynn. No, I'm gonna give it a 3.1. No, 3.3 out of 5. That's what I'm gonna give this. a 3.3 out of 5. Other than that, um, this was, I believe, Shane Douglas's last ECW show. I mean, he doesn't. He was supposed to come in Hardcore Heaven '99, but he got hurt and he didn't want to do. I guess didn't want to stick around for one more match. I guess. So that's the next pay per view, guys. ECW's Hardcore Heaven '99. Until then, please remember to like and subscribe. I catch you all for that review, and God bless you all, and peace. I'll see you for Hardcore Heaven '99. I'm signing out from the MCMA show.